I just finished my beer.
Go. What are you doing?
All right. All right.
All right. Cool.
I kind of like that 3 setup better. Like I could see my shit over here. Oh, well.
Yeah, totally. I just wish the person would have showed up so that we could have had that make sense, right? So
Right.
now it's just dumb. All right.
Definitely heard ESPN in the background, whoever it was. They won't
Yeah,
confess.
they're on their phone, and I was trying to access their camera. They wouldn't let me. All right. So what I would like to do, if you're cool, is start the show with, the normal way, and then let's talk about. I'd like to talk about these assholes for a second.
Sure. Yeah, I
And
have a
then
little bit on the Mets. We might as well get out of the way. I like it.
Yeah, and then we
Do you
can
want to
talk
do keepers first or Jets first? Those are the two big things I got.
What are the Jets? What with the Jets do you want to do?
I'm going to give you. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'm going to give you at least some fan comments. But we should also talk about Hard Knocks, right?
Yeah. Let's do that first, and then we can do keepers at the end, and then do that the majority of the show.
All right. So
All right.
Hard Knocks, then why they suck, then the keepers.
Yes, after the Mets.
All right.
Perfect.
Oh, hi. Hey, man, we're live.
Sorry. I was responding to the chat that you were giving me a hard time about that we never respond to. Hello, and welcome to another episode.
No one cares.
This is our year. No one gives a fuck.
No one gives a fuck.
But that's okay. That's why we're going to do our 18th or 19th year keeper league keepers reveal on this show, because it's all about us, Doug.
My goodness. It's not even much of a reveal, but we're going to have some fun with it. I love it. I love it. And for the occasion, I got the super
what are you drinking today?
The super fresh.
I feel like if
Dougie
you were
Fresh
a
in the
beer can,
house.
this would be you.
This is basically me, except I'm like never in the mountains. I wish I was. This is Peak Organic Brewing Company. It's another goddamn dipper. 8.5% Wick Dry Hopped AA. Fucking gross, right?
So you're going to be drunk by the time we get to the halfway mark of the show. I love it.
Like local sourcing, bright, juicy hops, certified organic. Where the hell are you from? Peak. I'm guessing Colorado. Hey, look at that, Iowa. No, I'm kidding. Oh shit, Portland, Maine. I guess they have mountains, but
they have Mount Katahdin.
That John Denver was full of shit.
I've been to Mount Katahdin. It was interesting. It's interesting.
So anyway,
I whitewater rafted down Mount Katahdin.
In Maine?
Yeah, Maine actually has Class 5 rapids. Yeah, it was interesting. Very interesting, because have you ever been to Maine?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've been to what's that town? I think I've been to Portland, and I've been to some like lakes. I don't remember where. It was all the 90s.
Yes. So you get to Portland, and then you get about an hour north of Portland, and you basically go back to the 1800s. They still shit in outhouses and piss in outhouses, and
like Stephen King's not fucking around. It's a little.
I would never live in Maine, ever. It's awful. It's cool to go vacation and eat like a lobster roll, and go down to their beaches and chill, which I've never done, but I always wanted to do. But living in Maine is probably awful all the time.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Like, it's a bunch of rich people on the coast, and then motherfuckers who have lived there for like 200 years who barely speak English and do not want to see you.
Right, and
they're one with the woods and the hills, and that's it.
They're living off the grid in a fucking log cabin that their pappy built in 1879.
Well, hold on. Yeah, exactly. But they're not the happy like woods people like Vermont. They're more of like a masshole version of that. So it's like kind of a weird combo, right?
So if you
a little more libertarian,
if you were going to describe what a masshole is for the Urban Dictionary and the rest of our podcast listeners who may not know.
Oh, come on. Well, a masshole is pretty easy to find when you start with the accent. the Massachusetts accent, and because every region has its assholes, right? But it takes a special kind, and this whole country has been more than introduced to the masshole ever since Tom Brady emerged from his his less than stellar pro day. Unfortunately, we have all been subjected to masshole after masshole. Oh, you know what? Bill Simmons too takes some blame here. He's the one who pumped up the pity party for Boston on the internet. Kind of had us going for a couple of years. It was actually really fucking funny when Boston came back from 03 to beat up the Yankees in 04. I was rooting for him, right? Were you rooting for him?
I was.
But since then, I feel like they've cashed their wait, what do you call it? Their whatever was in the bank, so to say, and
their equity.
Thank you. I first heard masshole about 20 years ago, so I think, and I'm in Connecticut, so I'm whatever that's called. I'm not saying I'm better than them, really, but if you've been there, if you've hung out with the people, you know what a masshole is. They're half of them are named Sully. Most of them are Irish or pretending to be Italian. Whatever.
Yes. My wife asked me, for whatever reason, masshole came up, and I said, "This guy's a fucking masshole." And she goes, "Masshole?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm a driver from Massachusetts." And she said, "That's brilliant." And I said, "The California you never had to deal with it.
It's taken a while to get over there." Yeah. This term's been around here for a while. Oh, go ahead.
I think my least favorite city in America, in terms of the people, right? Because there's like Detroit is just, I don't want to go to Detroit, right? And I haven't been to Detroit enough to visit it and enjoy. But
I don't know the
Boston,
people of Michigan. Yeah,
they're very Midwestern, but
nice.
Yeah, but
which
Boston,
is a different kind of asshole.
Yes, exactly. But Boston you go to Boston and they're assholes. They're pissed off. They think, you know what I compared it to? This is what I said. So we went to Greece a couple of years ago. We were in Athens and we were driving around, and everyone in Athens is so arrogant. Even the fucking cab driver is fat, hairy, driving me around smoking a cigarette with his arm hanging out the window. Looks like he hasn't ironed his shirt in fucking a millennia. And he was an asshole. And I'm like, God, why do these people think that they're so much better than everyone? And it's because people say where like modern society was founded, right? In Greece. Philosophers, all this shit.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
This hubris of this where we came from, right?
The cradle of Western civilization. I was going to disagree with you with the Boston. I thought you meant the Boston people, but no.
So but what I'm saying is I believe like Plymouth Rock is not far from Boston, and that's where the Pilgrims landed, so they feel like they are the cradle of the United States, right? They've been around for years.
Good luck with that, guys. But I like New York has the version of this too. Like every masshole you meet is either claims to be from South Boston, or more likely is from like a suburb, but they claim Southie and they talk like a Southie. If you know what a Southie is the original masshole that spread thanks to, again, the Patriots, Bill Simmons, and the assorted bullshit that's come out of that city in the last 2 decades.
And Ben Affleck and
Damon. No. So
blame those two massholes.
I don't want to totally like throw dirt on the massholes because I've intermingled with them a lot, and there's some good people. There's some good people up there. I will give the Affleck brothers credit. I think it was Casey actually who did the Vanilla Nut Taps Dunkin' commercial on Saturday Night Live. If anybody doesn't know what a masshole is at this point, go watch that video. Right? What I'm talking about, right?
I have not seen the
Dunkin' commercial they did.
I got to see that. I'll have to pull that up after.
Oh, geez. So if we have dead time, I'll share it at the end of this show.
Perfect.
As a treat. Anyway.
Perfect. I love it.
I forgot what you were talking about. Are you drinking?
I'm not. I'm not drinking just yet.
You said we'd drink.
I thought I would, but then there was a lot going on in the house, and to get us on time to go on air, which we still missed, I sacrificed opening a bottle of wine.
Very disappointed that you don't have a cooler in your bathroom yet, but we'll get to that. So So what hat are you wearing today? Oh, look at that, New York Mets, I think.
So let's talk about
Oh,
these guys
and
for
you got
one
your
second.
Pete Alonso shirt. Yes.
Yeah,
By the way, big football episode, guys. We'll get to it. Give
want to
us
get
a
this
couple
out of the
minutes
way.
on the
I want
Mets.
to
Stupid
get
Mets.
this out of the way. Stupid Mets. They suck, as Hyro just chimed in and said.
What's up,
Or is that
Hyra?
Jed? I don't know who that is.
What's up, Jed?
I don't know. Let's see. No clue who this is. But anyway, Jow LLC. Maybe it's both of them mixed together. I will say two things happened. One, there was a lot of rumors coming out saying Polar Bear Pete Alonso is a cancer in the Mets locker room from some stupid media in New York. And then all the beat writers came out and shut it down and said, stop creating content for clicks. So I just want to show our support to the Polar Bear and say, fuck you guys that are giving him a bad rap for being a cancer in the locker room. I can't imagine that's the truth. And if it is, I'd be very shocked, right? I will say there was it doesn't make sense. I will say someone did point out the other day that he did an interview after a game-winning hit, which I wasn't watching because we don't watch the Mets anymore on this show because they suck.
I watch them a little.
And he said, let's go Mets instead of let's fucking go Mets. And that I think there may be something to that where the team has asked him to stop using the LFGM and they didn't want that to be associated with them. And there could be something along those lines, right? And maybe he's a little like, come on, like we were cooking last year. So I don't know if there's any discontent with that. But at the end of the day, all I want to say is that's the best power hitter that this fucking team has ever created, better than Darryl Strawberry.
And it's not even close.
Not even close.
It's not even close. He's going to shatter. Like, he stays here 2 more years, he's going to have the all-time record.
Right. He's better than Darryl. He's better than David Wright, who wasn't really a power hitter. He was better than David Wright.
The Mets really haven't had any. Dave Kingman, maybe. Wright has some home runs.
This is the best power hitter that's ever come through our system, and that was homegrown.
It's insanity that people think we should trade him. What are we doing if we're trading Pete Alonso? I didn't realize this was even kind of an issue coming into this year, but
I didn't either.
Here we are.
And if they do trade him, I'll be shocked because you don't trade away 40 home run, 120 RBI guys. They don't grow on trees.
In his 20s, I don't care about Chris Davis.
I don't know. I just don't see Steve Cohen letting this guy get away for nothing.
No,
that's number one.
No, it would shock me. I'm in total agreement.
And so that is going to be the segue that rolls me to my second point, which is Ken Rosenthal wrote a big article today about the Mets and what they're going to do. And Ken Rosenthal is, the baseball insider on The Athletic, on MLB Game of the Week, right? He is a respected guy. He's a little short midget with a bow tie, but everyone respects what he writes, right?
I believe he stood up to Fox or something, and like everybody rallied around him. I forget who it was, but anyway.
Yep, that happened. I think it was ESPN, but that also happened.
Yes, yeah.
And so at the end of the day, he came out with a big article today saying what the Mets are going to do in free agency. And he was really, I didn't read all of it. I read the headlines, I read the captions, right? But it's exactly what the fuck I've been saying. There is no fucking way in hell that the Mets are going to take a backseat in free agency this coming year.
Yeah, there's no rebuild year, guys. Sorry.
No, we told.
I think we already did rebuild.
Yep, we rebuilt in 24 hours. We told Max and we told Justin what we needed to tell them to get them to drop their no trades because we were seeing the decline of 2 40-year-old pitchers, and we wanted to move them when they were at the peak of their market, which is what Steve Cohen has done greatest throughout his career. And Ken Rosenthal said, there is no way that the owner with the biggest amount of money to spend isn't going to be in on Ohtani. And that was from Ken Rosenthal's mouth himself. So I don't know if we're going to get him, but like I've said on this show, no one's going to be able to offer him more money. So if it's all about the money, he's coming to the Mets. If it's about being somewhere else, that's not that. Then I can't help with that.
I mean, like, if it's all about the money, maybe the Mets get it. It'll be a bidding war. But this isn't Fred Wilpon. So to your point, if Ohtani expresses interest in us bidding, they're going to bid, and I'm sure we'll bid either way. We're like, will we get him? I don't know.
I don't know, but the fact
But
of the matter is,
probably
like you
not.
said,
Honestly, probably not. Let's not get excited. But
hey man, it just I'm not excited about anything, but I'm just going to tell you that no one can outbid Steve Cohen. No one's going to outbid Steve Cohen, and Steve Cohen will not be outbid. Now, will he walk away from a deal? I don't
oh
think
yeah.
so. I don't think Cohen will walk away from a deal
Well,
unless
no, no.
there's some.
I thought you meant a negotiation that gets
I
crazy.
don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't think so. Why would you?
Wow.
The guy is the best player, generational player. He is going to sell more jerseys domestically and internationally than anywhere else when that new Mets Otani jersey comes out.
Would you give him like 1060 a year? So like 10, 600 mil or something like that, or even higher?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Why not?
I think I would.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know. Scherzer and
He's such a
and
unicorn.
Max
man.
just
So,
got
like,
43 million, right? And they were like
Yeah.
old pitchers, so that's gonna.
I mean,
set,
when you put it
that's
that
gonna be
way,
the that's gonna be the floor, right? And now you're talking about a guy that can be your everyday DH or outfielder and pitch on the
and
fifth
is
day,
a borderline ace. Yeah.
right? So that guy, give him 1060. Why not 600 million?
1070, whatever. Okay.
Whatever, whatever. Man.
That motherfucker's getting paid though, as we know.
He is, and I'm here for it. Anyone that wants to say that the Mets aren't going to be involved is their only reason they won't be involved would be that Otani says, I'm not coming to New York, I'm out. And there's no reason why he would fucking say that, because he knows that the Mets are going to drive his cost up, even if he doesn't want to go there. So the only reason he wouldn't come is if he doesn't want to come and he takes less money to not come, in my opinion.
All right.
So you heard it here.
You heard it here first.
A hundredth.
You heard it
So
here.
hold on, I'm going to do a quick wardrobe change.
All righty. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Wow, he's back. The magic of special effects.
First ever wardrobe change in the history of This Is Our Year. Maybe that's not true. So
probably
let's talk a little football, Doug. Let's talk about
all right. Yeah, because
Jets.
The New York motherfucking Jets are on HBO. Thoughts?
Did you watch?
Yes.
What'd you think? From an outsider's view.
I gotta preface this with, because I'm a curmudgeon. I find these things extremely boring, and it's just a bunch of people doing this. It's a PR video mostly. It was kind of interesting like 10 years ago when this show first broke. So just let me get this disclaimer out of the way. This is all horseshit, right? Do we all agree? Like, anyway, they're putting on a good show. I wanted to contrast the show with what we're going to do later, when we're going to read Jets fans' comments about their own team from the Why Your Team Sucks article this year, which is one of my favorite things ever. But yeah, no, let's start with the show. How do you think Aaron did? You're the Jets fan. Talk to us about the show. Or the
I will tell you first and foremost, I had no idea that Liv Schreiber was the voice of Hard Knocks. I couldn't have guessed that in a million years. But that was kind of cool that he flew in and
with the helicopter.
Whatever. Yeah, and I think it was
normal training camp shit.
Right. It was entertaining. That's my one fear, is like, please just stay focused. And apparently, Rodgers and Saleh got him focused. So it was cool, man.
It could be the Tebow summer again. We all. That's when everything really, really got fucking bad on ESPN.
I mean, we haven't made it playoffs since that happened.
No, you guys have paid so bad, and I just remember like the ESPN coverage of Tebow just being wall to wall, like every goddamn day in the season, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep. It's fucking awful. I mean, hey man, it's the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of coverage on Tebow, and you're going to get all the middle of the country Bible beaters to watch. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awesome. So
they're the people that matter.
They watch a lot of TV.
They're the silent majority. Anyway, Robert Saleh seems like a really good guy. I think we already knew this. That's what I take away.
Yeah, he's cool. I think the coaches are cool.
I don't want to get into the Peyton Nathaniel Hackett thing, but it is fucking hilarious that Nathaniel Hackett is now on the Jets. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But if Aaron's got his guy, right? How do you feel about Nathaniel Hackett? I know we've talked about this, but
with no Nathaniel Hackett, there would be no Aaron Rodgers, 100%. So
I thought that was all Mike McCarthy. No, I'm just kidding.
I love Nathaniel Hackett.
Okay,
I love him. His father used to be our offensive coordinator. Yeah,
the immortal Paul.
Yeah, I hated Paul Hackett. He was West Coast guy, never talked. Bald. He was bald with like the hair around.
Oh yeah.
You know, he had the full bald head.
I think Holmgren had that for a while too.
Yeah.
Did he coach USC or something? Oh no, that's right. He didn't.
He had just like the straight bald on top with like the bushy sides, and he would sit he was always a booth OC, and I always think booth OCs are kind of lame, you know, because I want them on the field. But now and later on, I guess it doesn't matter because they can see the field better from up top, right? So
fine.
But yeah. So Paul Hackett was terrible. Man,
what were we talking about? Other than that, it wasn't that interesting. It's a bunch of one-liners. It was like Aaron Rodgers trying to be funny. Oh, naked clowns. That's wild, man. I'm trying to remember what else. I watched it at work.
It was fine, man. It was fine. It was just, you know, the production. If you're watching it for production and the angles they get and all that shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
They were, they were all up Rodgers' ass, but Rodgers seems like he's having fun. And I don't know if it's a show or not, like a fake for the cameras or not. And I don't really care. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just don't want it to be a distraction and let him do his thing and get his time in with his team and get moving in the right direction.
You know, as a Jets fan, that's probably all you want to see right now. You don't want to. He's being a good soldier. He took his pay cut. He's being nice to everybody. He's not being weird. He hasn't been weird in a few months, right? Unless I'm forgetting something.
I don't think he's ever been weird. I don't know what this hang up with you thinking he is weird is. He was fucking.
We'll get to the comments soon, but
okay.
But he hasn't been on Rogan or McAfee doing any weird shit in a while. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I don't watch those shows.
No, yeah.
But
all right.
Why don't you read it? Let's read it.
Well, anyway, if you guys don't know why your team sucks is, I'm gonna put some quotes up for you guys. But there's a guy named Drew McGarry. He's a writer. He was on Deadspin. Now he's on this thing called Defector. But every year for like the last decade, he basically roasts every team before the season in reverse order of their record. So the Jets are usually in the first week. To their credit, I think they made it to week 2 this year.
Week 2.
It's progress. Giants haven't gone yet. I think the Patriots go next. So we can have fun with that one too next week. We'll definitely do a Giants one. Fair and balanced. I can't wait, actually. I love ripping on the organization and the fans and the stadium. And I think you can agree with me on that one. So without further ado, I'm just going to we're a high-tech operation here. I'm just going to share my no, I'm not. I'm going to share my show notes with you guys because just in case you don't want to read along with me. Let's see if this works, Mike. We haven't really shared much on this or used graphics.
No, bare bones. Oh, shit. Well, we got some keepers up here. The big reveal before the reveal.
Oh, shit. This is the wrong sheet. My bad. You're going to have to give me a second on this. In the meantime, though.
I think you should just read them.
Let's just read them. All right. I got
the funny ones.
I got them on this other screen here. Let me just make sure I can see them without my fucking glasses. All right. So I skipped the parts that Drew did. I'm going to get you the subscription. If anybody wants to read all of these, there's 30 of them. They're on the defector.com. Unfortunately, it's paywalled. But it's like $60 for a year, and it's actually like a kind of a funny site. So it's not very serious, but it does attack some serious issues. But it's kind of an antidote to like CBS or ESPN. Anyway, let's. My favorite part of these articles are when the actual fans of the team write in as they're instructed to roast their team. So this isn't opposing fans' teams. This is Jets fans talking about their misery. Here we go. They have never played in a Super Bowl as an NFL team. They have never won the AFC Championship. They are the only AFL team who has it. Let's think about that for a minute. Man hadn't walked on the moon last time the Jets won a Super Bowl. Just feel free to jump in whenever you want for all these. The Jets finally had a draft where everything just went absolutely right, and it didn't matter. That's obviously referring to last year, but going forward, they did have an amazing draft last year. That was.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, Houston, Derek Stingley over Sauce.
Fail.
Good grief. All right. I like this one because this is from a guy named Mike. Why couldn't I have been, or why couldn't I have grown up a Giants fan? All right, you want to admit it yet, or you still?
No, I know exactly why I'm not a Giants fan. It's my father's fault. It's because he was a Giants fan, and I
exactly.
Exactly.
There's no choice with us. I like this one a lot. Our most famous fan is the only fireman people don't like.
I mean, I don't like him. Everyone hates him. He quit on the team.
Are there any other firemen that people don't like in general? I think he might be the only one. That is a great point. All right. We'll keep it moving. I think Joe Rogan is our director of media relations, and a bottle of Nugenics is our strength and conditioning coach. Got to look forward to. This is for both of us. MetLife Stadium was designed out of spite. I believe it.
It looks like a fucking humongous air conditioner.
Oh God. I've been there. I've been to one Giants game since it opened, by the way, on purpose. Now we've got an aging wannabe podcast mystic at quarterback, and I'm thinking they have a shot at the division. I hate myself. I've dated two Jets fans. Both were recovering teenage alcoholics. It keeps going. I want Robert Saleh to succeed. He seems like a good man of faith and conviction. The Jets will break him like a child breaks a cheap toy from the dollar store. Fair?
I hope that's not true. But
all right, fine. You'll like this one. And this one's short and sweet. Woody Johnson, move cat, is a total raging asshole. Agree?
That is accurate. Yes.
Okay. All right. We got one. All right. And now we got some stories. My first trip to an NFL game was the last game Brett Favre played for the Jets. So I know how this season ends. Shirtless New Jerseyans shouting for Bill Cowher. Remember that guy? Bill Cowher to save them while fighting each other for no clear reason. Sound about right?
Yep.
And all right, finally, there's nothing funnier to me than Aaron Rodgers, the league's loudest and outspoken voice against Big Pharma, emerged from his darkness retreat with the ironclad conviction that he must play football again for Woody Johnson. All right, I could share more, and by the way, Drew's part is great. But, we have limitations on this show. And, hey, there's a cat, so I'm going to drink.
Yes.
And any thoughts in general on the roast? Or was that weak?
I mean, it's funny. It's all true. No, I don't think it's weak. I think the irony of your last quote is hilarious, whoever wrote that hat tip. I'm sure what Drew wrote is hilarious as well.
He definitely made a 9/11 reference, so it's spicy. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the team is, until proven otherwise, cursed and garbage, right? Everyone thinks Broadway Joe made a deal with the devil. I think there was also a deal with the devil when we brought Tebow in. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
I mean, that was just dumb. One I didn't include was that we have a Super Bowl win, but somehow the guy who's won the most playoff games in the franchise is Mark Sanchez. That's another fun stat.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, that was probably the best 2-year run ever.
So Back to the Jets, and again, we're just having some fun. I'm not a Jets hater. The Giants Jets don't really hate each other, right?
No.
Am I a little skeptical? I'll always be.
Yeah,
I think all opposing fans will be of you guys, but
yeah, I think from your point of view, you definitely hate Aaron Rodgers, and I can tell you,
I don't know if I hate him, but he's kind of been a clown show, and he might be overrated at this stage. And actually, Ed Drew gets into like how he might not be good anymore. That's what he kind of focuses on.
I don't think so, man. If you've been watching,
you can still make throws. I think
So back to my defense of Aaron Rodgers, the last 2 times he was working under Nathaniel Hackett, which was only 3 and 2 years ago, he was the league fucking MVP back to back. Last year, he had a new offensive coordinator, and he broke his thumb in week 4 against the Giants, smashing it on someone's head. And he played through that to the
Dexter
next.
Lawrence. I'm guessing.
He played through the next 12 weeks with a broken thumb. And so he went out there and he almost brought his team back from the dead and just
he had a real shitty supporting cast too.
Yes, I mean his team and Mike LaFleur or not Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur calling plays last year was not as great as it should have been. The things that what I don't understand about the Green Bay Packers, and I don't, I feel like they come up just as much as the Arizona Coyotes or the Phoenix Coyotes on the show.
I don't know about that,
but Matt.
Hey,
Matt
good
LaFleur,
job on the new arena in Mesa, guys. I guess you're staying.
Matt LaFleur, I didn't even see that, but Goot Kirst and Matt LaFleur, like, they have done everything they could to fuck that franchise up. You got a quarterback who was the MVP 2 years in a row. Maybe after the first MVP year, draft him a wide receiver or a running back or an offensive lineman or something. They just went all defense because they don't care. They follow the stupid plan. And then Matt LaFleur takes over play calling from Hackett, and he wants to change the offense. It's like this motherfucker just went back-to-back MVPs. Let's change the offense. Stupid. It didn't make any fucking sense. And that's why they didn't make the playoffs last year. Plus, he broke his thumb. So was Aaron a headache out there for the last 5 years? Yes. You know why? Because they drafted his replacement in the first round when he was 35 years old. And then he went on to go on the Aaron Rodgers fuck you tour and win back-to-back MVPs.
That really shook him, the Jordan Love thing, didn't it?
I mean, dude, what? Like, if he was 38 or 39, I think he could have understood it, but he was like, I got at least 3 more years left. Why are you not getting me a fucking receiver? And they also traded, by the way, his number 1 target away last year in Devontae, right? And Devontae said, I don't want to be here.
He looked a little
anymore.
lost without Devontae. By the way, I could see Garrett being his Devontae, so.
Definitely.
No, this is why I'm not predicting doom and gloom for you guys. I don't think it's guaranteed success, though, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this year may be the year that they start to gel, and next year will be the hype train. But who knows?
I think he's kind of an injury risk too. But you can't really.
If we don't shore up our offensive line, it doesn't matter who we put back there. But that's a whole other fucking
story. That was mentioned too. Yeah. That you guys kind of like beefed up on the DL as defensive line as usual, which is your shit. You guys always have mad defensive linemen, but the tackle situation isn't great, right?
It's not great. It is definitely not great. So, all right, Douglas, we've spent half the show talking about all this shit.
All right, let's do some more football.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes fantasy football keeper league review. So let's
Mom, that means you could stop watching now.
Let's give a quick review on what our league is, how long it's been in existence.
And actually, since you came up with the rules, I'm the current commish, obviously, but I would like you to, you made these rules. Why don't you talk through them? These were made in 2006, by the way.
So what year are we in? Is this year 18?
This is year 18.
So we're 18 years deep in this league.
This particular version, yes. We were talking about whether my titles from earlier count, but
clearly there's an asterisk next to your titles. But I have 4 titles in this league. If the asterisk is there, Doug has 3. If it's not there, then he has 2. And no one else has more than 2. Is that correct?
Again, I appreciate you bumping me up a little. That is correct, by the way. There are a couple of people with 2, I think. I think EB maybe.
Oh, maybe. And does Cousin Dave? No, Cousin Dave only has one. I don't know.
It's EB and it's might be Horseman. Is it Mangone?
No, I think Mark only has one. I think Mark
That's
only has
crazy.
one.
Because
And Josh
Horseman,
Josh
only
Rosen
has one.
Josh
Those
Rosen,
are two
who
good
is
players, but yeah, Snake
who is a lifer, finally got his first. He got off the schneid this year.
Yeah, what sucks is I'm looking at this list here, and because people change their names, it's just like not immediate.
Josh is chiming in. He's saying, Dave, that maybe Steamers has two as well. He's had a couple of. Yeah, I think Cousin Dave had one with Michael Vick back in the day, and then he had one a couple years ago.
No, I only see one for Dave.
Maybe that Michael Vick one was.
No, I was Michael Vick in 06.
Oh, maybe there's no one with multiple except for you and me
and EB, I think,
and EB. Yes. So
Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pennsylvania Altar Boys. Ooh.
Oh, he's definitely part of the reason why the tanking rules are coming into play this year.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. He was my troop leader, loves me, not Pennsylvania. Sorry. Got to correct that.
I think he was actually all of those, no?
No, the Altar Boys was, I think, Tim.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Either way, yeah, we're not making shirts. We thought about making the worst team have to wear the shirt of their team name to the draft. Obviously, the champ renames the team for the next year, but we were having public drafts, and we didn't want someone with like my troop leader loves me going into a public restroom. So,
right.
Anyway,
so these are the major rules. These are major rules. You get to keep one player, no matter what. Whoever you want, that's your franchise.
Yeah, whoever you want is your franchise, who cannot be traded during the year. New rule this year.
New rule this year. Don't like it, but commish.
You're gonna love it. You're going to love it.
The commission, the league, voted.
Everybody except you loves it, by the way. So, sorry.
Hey, yeah, I will stick with that's a consensus lead. Second is a guy that has 2 years or less in the league. Going into his third year, you can keep him as a 2 and under.
So, yeah. So, guys drafted in either 2021, 2022 for this year.
And or you can keep the final keeper as anyone that you drafted in the 7th round or later or picked up off of waivers.
Last year, obviously. So, yeah. Well,
and in reality, the 7th round is more like the 9th round.
9th or 10th. Right.
9th or 10th round.
Actually, by then it's like 10th because all the keepers are up there anyway.
Right. So I would say it's more like the 10th round.
Yeah. So
like, most of the keepers would be gone by the 10th round.
So kind of a hidden gem thing. I know most people or most leagues do either like draft pick last year or just don't do keepers or have a dynasty. Right. So this has been a unique league. I love all you guys who are in the league. I love how it's still going. People seem to like it. So 18 years is something. So
we started this in my mid-20s and your mid-20s.
Big ups to everybody. Mid-40s. And I think right now, and I've said this before, but I know without a doubt that right now we have the best pack of owners that we've ever had. So cheers to you guys.
Cheers to you guys.
So without further ado, let's talk about 2023 fantasy fucking football. I cannot wait to get my blood pressure up to the unsafe levels that my doctor always tells me about during Sunday.
Yes.
You want me to share?
Let's share. Let's talk about it. Let's share it, and then I'll give you the reveal of mine, and I will definitely be shitting on a quarter of these.
Hopefully you'll be joining me. I like it. So you want to go down the list here?
Yes. So Shake and Bake, he finished in last place. He will have a new name. It'll probably be something to do with anal of some sort.
Yeah, hopefully we can get away from the pedophilia for a year.
Nice.
It's like AI is going to start attaching it to my whatever profile, and it's going to end with me in a gulag somewhere in 2030.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't
need that, do we? All right.
So Shake and Bake, keeping Breece Hall as his franchise. I don't know if that was the best of franchise picks to keep, but
I will take a look at rosters just in case there are any oversights, but yeah.
Najee Harris, who I believe is.
So those guys are interchangeable. They're both, I think, 2 and under. Breece. Yeah.
Breece so maybe Najee, that's obviously. maybe it's the other way around.
So
I don't know.
It could be, either way.
And Michael Thomas. So how do we feel about these keepers right here?
Let's take a look at his roster. He's not keeping Cam Akers. He's not keeping. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's not a. I don't think this is a bad keep for the league at all. Michael Thomas is a little suspect, right? I don't believe in him, but it's a dart throw. I mean, for the third keeper, that's fine. He did not have much to work with here. I think, he sold the farm last year, so not bad. I think he has a bunch of picks, so I think he'll be all right. EPO, John O'Keefe. How you feeling?
John O'Keefe, Jonathan Taylor, George Pickens, James Cook. I think it's a nice young team. James Cook is a guy that could be a breakout this year.
I like him this year. Yeah. Especially with Hines down. And I hear he's taken first team reps. Zach Moss is hurt.
Yeah.
Who's left?
Zach Moss got traded, I thought. I believe he got traded.
Oh, no. Who am I thinking of?
Naheem Hines. The other guy that they have up there is Damian Harris.
I'm sorry.
Patriots back.
Same
he
thing.
may be a vulture, but he's questionable. But he may be a touchdown vulture, but so may Josh Allen. So who knows?
So
but
maybe
I still think that,
and they have Latavius Murray, I think, who I'm probably going to cut in Dynasty. So
yeah. So James Cook is the guy that I think we feel like could be a breakout. George Pickens had a good rookie year. I think he'd have a great year.
I love him as a player. So how do you feel about fantasy players who can just ball that aren't in the greatest situations? Because we'll get to mine, but I had this conundrum.
I feel like fantasy players that can ball that are in a bad situation, it just depends on how bad the situation is.
Kenny Pickett.
I wouldn't keep Kenny Pickett. I don't think.
But like Kenny Pickett's thrown to George Pickens, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but George Pickens is still going to get a good portion of that target share, right? Because who's the other guy that everyone hates on every year that plays for them?
I love Deontay too, actually. I love both of those guys. I've always been a Deontay Johnson fan. But I've never owned him, so he's never made me mad.
All right. Well, I think Jonathan Taylor speaks for himself.
Well, that's kind of a mess, right?
Yeah, if he comes back and plays or gets traded, it'll be interesting. So,
fucking running backs.
Running backs.
We'll have more thoughts on running backs this year, but we'll get to the next one here. Mr. Tim Jeffries.
CeeDee Lamb. Good keeper.
Yeah, love him.
Going to be a top 10 wide receiver for sure, maybe top
Easy.
7.
Yeah.
Dameon Pierce.
Let's
started off really well and then slowed down at the end of the year.
Are we worried about Devin Singletary down there?
I think he's going to take some carries away from Pierce. Pierce didn't have anyone to share the load with, and I think he wore out by the end of the year and wasn't as great as he could have been. But I think he's going to get all the touchdown, goal line carries, which has some value. But Houston's going to stink this year, so I don't know how much value that is. So we'll see. Maybe if he can run like he ran in the beginning of last year, he's going to be great. And then Trevor Lawrence. Go ahead,
Trevor. Yeah, sorry. No, you're right. Trevor Lawrence coming into his own. Can't really argue with that. Top 10 quarterback, right?
Top 10 quarterback.
Now, but before we get to yours, you said you were going to trash some of these. Are those first 9? Are you trashing anybody?
I mean, Michael Thomas over. I don't know if he could have kept Cam Akers. If he could have,
probably not.
Yeah.
The other options are Paris Campbell, maybe Treylon Burks, but he might have been drafted earlier.
I don't know, but Michael Thomas stinks. But that's a 7th or later, like you said, a dart throw.
That's what we're looking for.
And Breece Hall, Najee Harris, I guess you have to keep those guys. I'm not a big.
Yeah, it's a tough spot there.
Breece is probably going to miss the first 4 weeks, so that's tough. But I also probably wouldn't give him up. But Najee
because he's got another year of control next year under our rules.
Yeah, and if James is coming back,
that's a no-brainer to me, Breece. But
Najee Harris, I think, is not as good as everyone thinks he is. I think he's kind of
No.
garbage.
So
So
what we're looking at is a complete teardown and what's left when you trade basically everything that's not bolted down, and that's what you end up keeping. However, he's going to draft Bijan,
most
or
likely, right?
actually,
Well, we don't know yet because we have the
unless he
lottery.
loses the lottery.
Right.
So like he might have this like insane 3 running back attack. We'll see.
Yeah.
So
And
all
then
right.
your brother's picks, EPO, like Taylor's a no brainer. Pickens, I like. Cook is
Yeah.
definitely a no brainer.
I mean, you don't feel great about Taylor right now, but you got to do it. So
I mean, he's going to play this year, and he's going to play somewhere, and he's going to put up big numbers wherever he plays as long as he stays healthy. CeeDee Lamb is definitely a keeper. Damian Pierce is worth what we're keeping him where he's at. And Trevor
classic
Lawrence,
kind of keeper in our league.
Yeah.
I don't really have an issue here either with any
Nope.
of these, except maybe Michael Thomas. But again, I get it.
Right.
It might as well take a home run swing. Hold that thought on home run swings. All right, Mike, who you got?
For my franchise player will be Justin Jefferson, who I
Big
so
surprise.
adeptly drafted 4 years ago because I'm fucking great at drafting.
Lucky.
For my two and under, I will be keeping Christian Watson.
Okay.
And the
Wow.
wide receiver from Green Bay. And for my 7th or later, I'll be keeping Calvin Ridley. So
okay, so I like the third one more than the second, but let's take a look at what you're working with.
I could have kept Elijah Moore or Kyle Pitts over Christian Watson, but Kyle Pitts has never performed, and he's on a team that runs the ball 1,000 times a year. So I learned that lesson the hard way last year when I drafted him in the first round, which is why I was in the bottom 4.
And oh man, remember when I was like, I might even draft Kyle Pitts at like 10.
That's why I did it. And so
it worked. I'm kidding.
And Elijah Moore is going to be the third most targets on a team that also runs about 1,000 times more than passes. And Calvin Ridley is, we're talking about Christian Watson. Christian Watson is Jordan Love's number 1 receiver. And he did some fucking amazing things once he stayed healthy last year with Aaron Rodgers. And he was a workout warrior. And I think he is going to be the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers, because I think Garrett Wilson will be the best out of that class last year. So it's going to make a lot of people.
I mean, I got to say, Watson over Pitts, which I believe would be the decision here, right? Is quite the call.
Oh, Pitts has never done anything in that offense, and he's got Desmond Ridder throwing to him, which I don't know. Maybe Desmond Ridder is going to be good, but
did you like what you're seeing with Jordan Love?
Yeah, I think Jordan Love has been in the offense for 4 years now. They've tailored it to him. He looked okay in what he did last year. He's got some ability. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We will see, right? But he's not some rookie that doesn't know what's going on. This is his 4th year. So he's going to Jordan Love.
Oh, Love. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So he's been in the system, and Watson was a freak last year. He's a 6'2", 220-pound receiver with 4.3 speed, and he showed the ability to separate like nobody else last year in the draft, during the season. So I think that I like the fact that I got
more than Olave, huh? Wow.
I like the fact that I got 3 number 1 wide receivers going into the season, and we'll see how they pan out. So
word up. I hate it. I'm kidding. No. I mean, again, looking at your roster, I do love the Ridley keep. People are going to be saying that he's going to have kind of like the Christian Kirk share. We'll see though. I think Kirk's still there. Other than that, your roster is garbage, sir. So good job.
My roster's garbage. Oh, like my
from last year. Yeah,
so I dumped everybody. I traded everything that wasn't bolted down, like you said.
Of course. So. All right. So on to Chicken Heads. Unfortunately, I had to let him know today, Brandon. Sorry. But I looked this up, and it surprised me too. But Isaiah Pacheco was actually taken in the 6th. So he's working on his 3rd keeper. But we have Travis Kelce. It's absolutely no-brainer.
Right.
I should have just kept him all along over fucking Joe Mixon, but whatever. Whoops, I just went on the wrong team. And who we got? Help me out here. Ramondre.
Thoughts
on Ramondre, Mike?
I mean, he's going to be the clear-cut guy there now, and that team is going to be pretty bad if I had to guess. And so he's probably going to run the ball a lot because Belichick likes to run the ball. Their quarterback is not great. Their receivers are even worse than that. So I think, Belichick likes to control the clock. He's going to try and probably do that. And he was great last year. And now that Damian Harris is out of the way, he's the clear-cut one, and Pierre Strong is probably their number 2. And the only thing that scares me is that Belichick running backs it never turns out the way you think it's going to.
You never know.
So
what was that guy's name? Like Josiah Gray. Remember that year where that guy just showed up for like 3 games and had like 200 yards and then was never heard from again? Like,
yes,
Belichick gets weird.
Some undrafted running back that was like 17th on the
Jonah Gray, I think.
Jonah Gray. I mean, fucking Lawrence Maroney. They drafted him in the first round. I tied my fucking franchise to him. He was worse than Trent Richardson, who I also drafted. So,
I don't know about that. That guy was historically bad. Don't worry. I have my what was the guy's name? Ryan Matthews. I should have known with the name Ryan Matthews, man. He's going to be a fucking anyway. So yeah, look, he might trade for a guy, or he might keep like Donovan Peoples-Jones or Tyler Algier. It's kind of bleak on his roster. And any other thoughts on that one, or we want to move on?
I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's TBD still. He's got till tomorrow. Yeah. So then we got cousin Dave here.
Vilsekis. He's got some interesting players here.
Eckler, Wilson, Madison. I think that's a pretty solid threesome right there.
Yeah.
Eckler is going to be the top guy in San Diego. He's going to catch 1 million balls. Garrett Wilson is a stud.
So let's talk about Austin, because like a couple of years ago, people were like, is he a full-time guy? It turns out this guy's a superstar, man. It sucks. I really wanted to draft him last year. I missed him by a pick or something, or maybe that was 2 years ago. I can't get enough of Austin Eckler in this offense. So famous last words, Dave. Sorry, just cursed him. And yeah, man. And Garrett Wilson, I'll leave that to you, but he's a badass.
I think he's going to be one of the top 5 receiver in the league in the next 2 years.
I'd agree with that.
If he isn't already. Alexander Madison.
He showed.
Yeah, he was great last year, and now he's got a quarterback that can actually throw him the ball.
Okay, can we review the poo-poo platter that actually threw passes for the Jets last year? Because apparently it's 4 players. Do you remember all 4?
It was Joe Flacco. It was Mike White. It was Zach Wilson. It was Chris Streveler.
You nailed it.
I don't know if Streveler ever threw a pass.
I'm not sure if Chris Streveler is a real person. I was hoping you would back me up on that because I read it in the article.
Yeah, he is a real person. Guy? He is like a folk hero. He, every year that your team has a fucking 4th string quarterback that everyone falls in love with, that's who he was. He just got
I thought that was Mike White, though. You guys have too many.
He was the new Mike White because Mike White was in the 4th string quarterback last year. So yeah,
he wasn't. He was the 3rd or 2nd. I don't know. Anyway, a new era. And Alexander Madison, kind of a no-brainer.
I mean, the only thing I'll say about that is, they're saying Kareem Hunt is on his way there to visit with them. And
well, it kind of makes sense when you look at their backups. Like Ty Chandler hasn't taken any handoffs, really.
No, Ty Chandler, and then I drafted Dwayne McBride and Kenny Ochugwa or whatever. None of those guys are exciting. So
they have zero experience too.
They definitely need a backup. So I don't hate it though. I think he's got 2 starting running backs, which is more than most people can say that are healthy to start the year.
Let's bring on the hate.
Yes. Can you bring up your team so that we can talk about who you didn't choose? This one I saw this earlier today, and I'm Jerry Jeudy as your franchise pick. What the fuck, Doug?
Yeah, dude. Let's go.
You didn't want to spend a draft pick to get a better player than Jerry Jeudy?
I don't have draft picks.
Who else could you have kept over Jerry Jeudy? I need to understand.
We'll get into this, but In the meantime, I'm trying to remember my CVS password because I'm not logged in on fucking Chrome here. No, you know what? I'll talk you through this. So let's start the obvious one. And I think
Well, let's cut to this real quick though, because Jamar Chase is a no fucking brainer. Great.
That's
great.
my franchise.
Right.
I'm working the rules here. Obviously, he's my franchise, but I can use him as a 2.
Right.
So that helps me out in other spots. And let's talk about Justin Fields real quick. One of the hottest quarterback, 1,100 yards rushing in 13 games last year. If he can just repeat that, that's my strategy for the 0R running back approach here. Like, I can get those rushing yards from him, hopefully. And then hopefully he's also like a decent enough quarterback to be like a low end 1 guy. I don't know if that's going to work for me, but again, I'm picking once in the top 40 picks this year. So ouch. I'm taking Happy Gilmore swings here.
Hey man, Justin Fields is a top 10 quarterback. Yeah. And the thing I like about Fields is they brought in a bunch of help for him. He had nobody last year.
Finally they have a receiver.
Yes, they have 3 receivers now, right? So
well, yeah, but like a real one, like in DJ Moore, and no disrespect to Darnell Mooney because I kind of like him, but he's a 2. He's like a field stretcher.
He's a 2 or a 3. He's a 2 or a 3, and then they still got Claypool,
he's
right?
He's more of a Darius Slayton, and he's got Claypool, yeah.
And he's got Kmet. And he's got some running backs now. They got rid of David Montgomery, but they got
they have Rashawn Johnson, and Herbert's coming back.
Yep. So
Dante Foreman,
that guy could win it. Yeah, we'll see. Justin Fields, we'll see.
Let's talk about Jerry Jeudy. I knew you were going to roast me on this one. So, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first? I'm prepared to defend this.
I just don't know who else you had. So, can you just read me your roster that you didn't choose the whole entirety of it?
Yes.
Go.
Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones were the other considerations.
You took Jerry Jeudy over Aaron Jones?
Yes.
Blasphemy. Why?
I'll tell you why. Aaron Jones is a baller. Aaron Jones can fucking play football. That's why I kind of asked you about this earlier, because this is what I was struggling with here. First of all, I've kept Joe Mixon for 4 years.
He stinks. I would get rid of him.
He had a game last year where he scored 5 touchdowns. It was a lot of fun for like 4 hours.
Right.
That is way inflating his stats. He almost got cut in the offseason, and he still might get cut because they saved $10 million if he's not on the opening day roster, and that might help them sign T. Higgins and some more guys.
Right.
So first of all, I'm breaking up with Joe Mixon. Out of these 3
guys, I agree with that move.
I agree with these. I'm sorry. Out of these 3 guys, Joe Mixon, if you look at like all the experts, he is the highest rated of these 3, right?
Sure.
So that, that's already controversial. About 6 spots down or 10, whoever you're looking at overall, or in running back in like 2 or 3 spots down, you have Aaron Jones, who is a very good running back. He's one of the, if he was in another situation, he would be a very, very good running back, I think. Here's the truth on Aaron Jones, and I almost kept him, by the way. So it was between Jones and Jeudy. His small sample with Jordan Love isn't good. They have A.J. Dillon.
Who is not good.
Love's more of a running quarterback, so I'm not even sure if Jones is going to pick up a lot of receptions like he was supposed to last year, but didn't really. But let me talk about Jerry Jeudy for a second, because yes, it seems crazy, right? I thought it was crazy. I wasn't even considering him at first, but then I kind of looked at the numbers, man. Here's the problem with Jerry Jeudy. Besides Nathaniel Hackett last year and whatever the hell that was with Russ, the dude is like clockwork has been for his career, clockwork to miss like 3 or 4 games a year. Last year when he was on the field, the motherfucker put up points. Go back and look, especially later in the year. I'm hoping there's some old school Sean Payton magic. I used to ride Sean Payton magic back in the day with Drew Brees when I kept him forever. Maybe there's some Sean Payton magic here. I'm not too scared of Cortland Sutton. Marvin Mills is going to be a player someday. Not sure right away. I'm taking, again, the home run swing. And I think I have to do this, especially considering I have no draft capital. So big swing. Jerry Jeudy, controversial. Go ahead.
So,
and zero RB, obviously.
I mean,
hit me. I know it looks weird, right? He's the top 20 receiver last year.
I don't love the Broncos. I think Sean Payton is installing his new offense with Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is fucking done. He might be cooked. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, speaking of weirdos, I give Aaron Rodgers a lot of shit, but he's a clown too, by the way, Russ.
Russell Wilson is the biggest clown.
Yeah.
And I think
speaking of sponsored by Nugenics or whatever vitamin water he has.
Right. And his Instagram and his fucking everything he puts out is just weird.
He's married to Cialis or Ciara.
Ciara, yes. He's just so I don't trust him more than anything. But
I don't either.
You also have you're not worried about Cortland Sutton, but I still think that the target share is going to be pretty even. So you're not even getting yourself, in my opinion, Denver's definite number one receiver this year.
Okay.
You might have just kept Denver's number two receiver over Green
I think
Bay's
he's better.
One
he's a better player. But
I mean, dude, you did it. I can't. I'm just telling you. These are my thoughts. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully you're right. I mean, hopefully you're wrong because you're in my division. But hopefully for your sake, you're right.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jeudy
it would have been easy to keep mixing again. It really would have. But
yeah. And one more year, right? One more year, run it back.
But then does Aaron Jones really excite you this year? I was trying to talk myself out.
I mean, he's probably going to be a top 5 pick, which isn't saying a ton. But
really,
who do you think's going? Oh, we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on here. Let's move on. I don't want to keep going in this.
Fair enough.
Judy.
Yeah. So, exactly.
So Jed's got Cooper Kupp. Oh no, Jed's got Christian McCaffrey. No brainer. Rachaad White. Who I believe is the starter in Tampa Bay. Is that correct?
I believe too. I haven't honestly looked, but
and Jeff Wilson Jr., who
is also on.
He's part of the backfield on the Dolphins.
All right, so I do have to defend Cortland and Jeff Wilson for a second. They are on my dynasty team. I picked them up for different reasons. Although Jeff Wilson, man. I picked him up because at the end of last year he was kind of taken over. Like, remember they acquired him?
Yeah, they got him from the Niners at the trade deadline because
that's a fun offense, but
they run the ball well. He knows the system. He played well with him and Mostert.
Mostert's made of glass,
but so is Jeff.
Wilson. Yeah.
So I think wrapping up two starting running backs and whatever Jeff Wilson may be, I don't know what his other options were besides Jeff Wilson.
I'm looking at this, and I don't know when Gabe Davis was drafted last year.
I think early.
Yeah.
I think early. I think he took him the fourth.
He's always hyped, right? He's always fucking hyped, Gabe Davis.
Right.
Yeah, he's leaving. Again, these guys might not have eligibility. Josh Allen, Elijah Miller, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, David. This is a top-heavy team that I don't think he can keep any of those guys. So
no, I think it was either McCaffrey or Allen, right? So
yeah,
he did. I think he did the best he could with what he had.
He's got Greg Dulcich, which I just will say Sean Payton's really talking up. Speaking of number one receiver,
well, he definitely left. He put Adam Troutman ahead of him on the first depth chart, but that may be just some motivational Sean Payton bullshit. So,
whoops.
Yeah. So nothing to scoff at here.
All right.
Then we got Mark. Mark's got Cooper Kupp, St. Brown, and Tony Pollard. I mean, this is a really good.
Once again, Mangone is really good at this. That's all I got to say. I hate to say it. I don't fucking like complimenting people, but respect to this. Really hard to argue with this, right?
No, the only thing I'll say is Cooper Kupp is getting a little older, and he's been banged up in the last 2 years, and hopefully Stafford is ready to. But Stafford said he's back, and he's just recovered from everything he was dealing with last year. St. Brown is a no brainer as a 2 and under, and Tony Pollard's a no brainer as a
No brainer, right?
7th and later.
So
So
he's like a top 10 running back coming into the year, right?
I would say
Pollard.
so. Yeah, definitely.
So good job, Mark. We will see about Houston Massage Oilers. He's the guy I haven't heard from.
Yep. Eric has not come back to you. He's a busy guy. He's doing lawyer
It's
things.
fine.
Doing lawyer things.
But he'll get it to you right now.
Right? He'll get it to you in time for the deadline, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
No so worries. Now we got John's team here: Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Waddle, and Jamal Williams. Again, I got nothing bad to say here. Mahomes is the number one quarterback every year for the last few years. Can't complain. Jalen Waddle is a receiver, a target whore. And Jamal Williams, I'm surprised he's a 7th or later. He was the Detroit back that's now in New Orleans, right?
He's always performs way over his ranking every year.
Yeah. So this
going back to the Green Bay days.
He led the league in touchdowns last year. This is great keepers. I was thinking it was the Denver back that had the torn ACL. This is a great.
Javonte, man. And he went to the title game last year, and these are decent keepers, and he made the right choices. I mean, AJ Brown's there, but or actually, he kept Mahomes over Chubb. You have any issue with that?
No, I don't love Nick Chubb. He's a workhorse, but he doesn't catch many balls, and I don't know. I don't know what that offense is going to look like. Cleveland is a team. Yeah. Every year, I got a couple teams that I try to avoid players on. And
except that year, you made Baker your centerpiece.
Yes, that was a really bad year. But no, I'm saying year to year. Like I'll pick different teams based on what I think, and I don't know what to make of Cleveland this year with Watson being pretty much 2 years removed. I mean, he played a little at the end.
They were savage on the why your team sucks with Cleveland, especially Watson.
I can't wait. So I got no complaints here with John.
Yeah,
he had a good year, and he'll draft the fucking 49er running back in the first round who's 75 years old, and then he'll take a bunch of guys that he'll take the best value guy while everyone's like, that guy's old, or that guy I don't trust that guy, and he'll just take those guys, and either he'll have a great year,
10 touchdowns,
Yeah, he'll either have a great year or he'll have a miserable year because either the guys fall off a cliff or they don't. But John is always consistent. And then finally we got Josh here.
He'll also try to draft Eric Ebron and forget he's not on the Lions anymore.
Yes, he'll always take some random line. Well, and Jamal Williams fucked that up for him. Now he's going to have to take a random lion at this point.
Another one, yeah. The Khalif Raymond, step on up.
There you go. Finally.
What we've all been waiting for. Let's get angry at Josh.
Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Tyler Lockett. Now let's look at who he had, because on paper I don't have any problems with Hill, Olave, or Lockett. He's got one number one receiver and 2 number 2s, but ascending is Olave, and Lockett's always performs like a 1B. He may not be a 1A, but he's a 1B. So, who could he have kept instead?
So, for the franchise, it was Tyreek or it was Jalen Hurts. Your thoughts?
I think,
or Stephon Diggs. Sorry, I should mention Diggs as well.
I think he's a badass. Between all three of those, the case can be made for all three of them.
Maybe even Saquon. He's got Saquon on his roster.
I don't know, man. Maybe you keep Saquon, but it depends on what you're trying to do with your roster construction. I think quarterbacks as a keeper, if it's not Mahomes, even if it is Mahomes, it's not something that I really want to do because...
Dude, you kept Aaron Rodgers for a decade.
I did, and I won with him, but I also lost with him a lot because I gave up other pieces.
I lost a lot with Breeze, hanging on to Breeze those years.
Yeah. Right. So what I learned from that is that keeping even the best quarterbacks, keeping them, you're going to have your shot to get them in the second and third round, and somewhat, if not them, somewhat close to them.
It's true. I mean, even with all the passing that's blown up, and I can't argue with that. So and Tyreek, by the way, won this guy the league last year. He just fucking went off, especially starting in week 6 or 7, right?
Yep.
Which again is hard to argue. I'm I'm a huge Stephon Diggs fan, and obviously Tyreek Hill is not a great person at all. I would really,
But I will say this: I
hate
should
rooting
have
for him,
kept
but yeah,
Tyreek Hill last year
should have
instead of Alvin Kamara, and I
definitely.
traded away for Alvin Kamara, and it ruined my season. And if I had kept Tyreek Hill, I would have made the playoffs. I wouldn't have fucking sold off, and we wouldn't.
Well,
be
you
having
might
the
have
same
still
conversation.
sold him off, but yeah,
maybe I think I would have made the playoffs if I had Tyreek. Kamara missed like half the season, and Lamar missed half the season. So, but I may have pivoted to getting a quarterback instead of dumping everybody.
And by the way, you make a decent point about running backs. I feel like wide receivers in general are a little more safe year to year.
They are.
Do you agree? That's another reason why when it was close, I went with the receiver here, Judy.
I think you have. Obviously, the NFL is more of a pass happy league now. You throw the ball a lot more. You had some blah running backs to choose between in your defense, like middle, like mid tier guys.
They'll probably go in the first in regular drafts.
Yeah, they'll probably be second or third rounders in our draft. Maybe Aaron Jones and Mixon will sneak into the back half of the first round. But
yeah, maybe in our draft, but like in a normal just.
And that's to be completely honest with you. That's how I always do tiebreakers when I can't decide who I want to keep. Is which guy is going to be drafted first. And so I probably would have kept Mixon because of that.
Yeah. See, I've had more success just banking on receivers and then figuring out running backs. So I'm going to try it again this year with no picks. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
But I totally get you anyone ripping Jerry Jeudy over Joe Mixon or Aaron. I get it. I just don't want to fucking deal with Joe Mixon.
Fair enough. And Tyler Lockett is consistent. You know, the guy's going to catch 70 balls for 1,000 yards.
He will.
And like 8 touchdowns. And that's great out of your 7th or later.
Do you think Gino's going to regress this year, by the way? Do you have any thoughts on Gino?
I don't. I almost kept him. I didn't almost keep him. I wasn't going to keep him as a 7th or later over Christian or over Calvin Ridley. But I mean, he was the number 6 quarterback in fantasy last year. He's got 2 stud receivers, and he had 10 years to learn how to play quarterback and be the understudy in Seattle,
which is way underrated.
4. And he always had the talent. Gino's problem was never talent. It was between his ears.
Yeah.
He was a head case. He was arrogant. He thought that he was better than he was.
For a lot of guys, right?
Yeah, and he always thought that everyone was like against him, and it was annoying. And I think he had this stupid chip on his shoulder,
especially the guys that were punching him in the face.
I mean, dude, you know what? At the end of the day, like the guy IK in Poly or whatever the fuck his name was that punched him in the face. At the end of the day, like. That guy's an idiot for punching his starting quarterback in the face. But Gino's an idiot because he owed the guy like $500.
Yeah, come on, man.
You're the fucking starting quarterback. That guy's like a walk-on undrafted rookie. You have millions of dollars, and you couldn't pay the guy. The guy wanted to get reimbursed for his fucking ticket. Like, you're the quarterback. You're supposed to lead the team. First of all, you should have shown up. That was the problem. He didn't show up to the football camp the dude put on. Ghosted him and then didn't pay him back for the ticket that he paid. And it was definitely a principle thing and it was stupid, but it showed that he was a bad leader at the time. I think he's learned a lot over the last 10 years because it took him 10 years to get to where he's at. And so I don't think he regresses. I think maybe he throws a few more interceptions, but he threw 30 touchdowns last year and he only threw like 6 interceptions. He's always been a super accurate quarterback. It was always his decision making. So now he's making better decisions on and off the field. Why can't he have another top 10 fantasy quarterback? I don't see that being out of the realm. I don't think people are going to want to touch him because they think it's going to, a 1-year wonder.
He's still got that stank on him, right? He's got to do it again.
Got to do it again. So he'll either be a late round. I'm sure he'll fall to the late rounds, and he'll either be like a late round guy that someone's excited about, or he'll be
someone's backup
dud. Right? Yeah, exactly. So man, I think this was a great show, Dougie. I enjoyed myself. Our 4 viewers enjoyed themselves, and I think when this comes out,
we could talk about a lot more players too. But we should call it.
I think we should call it. It's almost 8:30 your time. I gotta take the wife out for dinner tonight. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
You need to eat. I need to eat.
Um, I don't really have a Via con Dios. So the guy who directed French Connection and a bunch of other movies, I can't
I
think
got a
of died.
Via con Dios. I got a Via con Dios.
Robbie Robertson died. Who you got?
Via con Dios. Joe Mixon, franchise player for the Stampigs. It's been about 4 years.
4 years of zero
Yes.
playoff wins, probably off the top of my
Yes.
head.
Yes. Time to move on. So Via con Dios, Joe. Hopefully you don't get also Via con Dios by the Bengals at the end of training camp.
I know, right? Speaking of teams that need a running back, I mean that kept me around for a second because it's like Chase Brown, Chris Evans, Travion Williams, really. Maybe Joe Mixon does go off. Probably.
Maybe. Well, with Burrow out for the first 6 weeks, that's also a possibility.
Yeah.
So.
Whoa!
All right, man.
First 6 weeks.
Well, that's what Jamar said. He said, I don't expect him to come back till week 6. So.
Oh, I thought you said like don't come back week 1, dude.
No, that's what the team said. Chase talked to the media separately and said, I don't expect Burrow to come back until week 6.
All right. I already have heartburn for this fantasy season. It's going to be a bad one. I hate you all.
Audience, it has been great. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
That was cool.
That was. Any more comments? Sorry, you were